I wanted to start out with Bitcoin. It is on fire. So yesterday, the Dow Jones dropped 600 points, which
Yes.
is insane, almost 3%. And Bitcoin went like crazy, all the way up to $8,000. So I just wanted to
What was it
talk
at
about.
before the tear? Like, what did it go to before it hit 8,000? Was it like
So,
6,000?
so the highest it's ever been is 20,000, and that was in December of
Yes, that was
2017.
the crazy, crazy.
And then it just dipped all the way down to 3,500, I believe. And yeah, and so last week it was like the high 5,000s, and now it's
Okay.
8,000.
Yeah, so
So
it
it's
that's a
really
huge
gone
jump.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think in one day it went up like 13%, and then the next day another 9%. And so anybody that had their money in there was just making hand over fist in dollars.
Yeah.
And the thing is people are now saying it's going to go up to 10,000 before the end of the year. So a 20% jump, if you threw in $1,000, you would make $200 by the end of the year.
By the
That's
end of the
pretty
year.
good. That's what people say. So I just wanted to talk a
Here's a
little bit
question.
about Bitcoin right now. Yeah, go for it.
Do you think that the reason why it reacted to the Dow Jones? So let's talk about the Dow Jones overall, because we're actually there's more articles we're going to talk about stocks today as well. Stocks being hit, going up and down. The market took a hit because of the trade war with China.
Yes.
That's really what it is. And so there was some pushback from Donald Trump on Monday, and then some pushback from China, and it's been back and forth. And then today, the market's recovered a little bit, looking like, okay, well, maybe the fighting back and forth is just words. So there seems to be a little bit of positivity today. But do you think that the converse relationship between Bitcoin and the Dow Jones is it replacing gold? Do
Yeah,
people
I
see
do
it
think so in a
as
way.
something a little bit more stable because it's an international currency? It's protected, it's safe. Like, do you think it's becoming the new gold? And then, does that even make sense?
Well, I
Because it
wanted to talk a lot
has
about
so
it.
value, right?
First of all, I have a story about it. So, I was in Santa Monica the other day,
Yeah,
and I have some friends here that are traveling nurses, and they live in this really cool house where there's like four different houses in the compound they're at, and they have this big area in the center where people go and they play their guitar, they eat breakfast, and then everyone else from the other houses come out and talk to them. And so there was this man there from Eastern Europe that came out and started playing his guitar and talking to my friend Tiffany, and he started talking about Bitcoin and how, he's bought all these Bitcoin, and how in Europe it's a big deal, and how it's going to just start shooting up again. And she was absolutely convinced. Now, this was back when Bitcoin was $3,000. And I said, Tiffany, last year I bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and all of my Bitcoin went down a ton. And I'm at like 25% of what I put into it. And she said, oh, well, he sounded so convinced. I really should buy this Bitcoin. And so this whole time I've been like, no, don't do it.
did you
And
do
now
it?
all of a sudden yesterday it just shot up. And so it's really something that people are talking about. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it on our podcast is because it's really a hot issue right now, and it just might surge to $10,000 by the end of the year. And even the other day when I was driving to work, I saw somebody with their license plate that said XRP on it. And I just laughed because, they were driving their Tesla around with XRP. And
Yeah.
it's cracking me up. People are getting really into this. And so there's a lot of bullish experts that think that this could be the new gold. And in fact, they're pushing for a new futures um,
A
that
Bitcoin futures.
yeah,
Wow.
Bitcoin futures that they're hoping to have by the end of the year, and so that would really stabilize it. Now, here's the problem with Bitcoin, Matt, is that it's kind of old technology now, because people are making new cryptocurrencies that are much better, more efficient, more in control. We've seen Ethereum, we've got Litecoin, we've got Ripple. But constantly new people are coming out with new cryptocurrencies. Did you know JP Morgan Chase came out with their own version of Bitcoin that's going to help with international transactions and their own banking company? So people are constantly coming out with new ones. The thing that I fear about with an actual Bitcoin is that this technology is now 7, 8 years old. People are coming out with newer, better encryptions that are more efficient and faster. if you buy the old Bitcoin, it's almost like buying a Commodore 64 in a way, because it still works, but it's just slower, clunkier, and people aren't going to want to use it in the future. I mean, honestly, what
Yeah.
Bitcoin is we hope that soon we'll live in a world where we could go to Europe, we could go to South America, we could go to Australia, pull out our phone, instead of taking our credit card out, you're at 7-Eleven paying for gas, you use Bitcoin. You don't have to pay for any
No
Canadian
transaction
dollar,
fees. Yep.
American dollar changes. It's just you have a Bitcoin and it's worth the same whether you're in Saudi Arabia or China, right? And that's what we all want. Today, though, people aren't really using Bitcoin to buy things. What do they use Bitcoin for? Most of
Investing.
it's investing and speculation, and in some cases, the dark web when people are buying drugs, right?
Drugs.
Or
Murders.
mafia murders. You're going to pay for
Yeah.
someone to off someone with
You
a
can buy a
Bitcoin.
coffee with it now. So, like I think it was Starbucks I saw had some advertisement that you can use Bitcoin now to buy coffee, and it was probably Ethereum that they had a contract with. So I get it that, there's better coins out there, but I think what Bitcoin has, the huge advantage is its branding, its brand name, right? They
Right.
haven't had to advertise anything, but everybody's talking Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Nobody's talking the specific brands.
Ripple, Ethereum. Yeah, no one's talking about other different kinds. So you're right about that. Here's what my advice is for would-be investors. Get a Bitcoin ETF, because that's going to do a whole basket of cryptocurrencies. And so if for some reason people realize that Bitcoin is too slow, and I actually did a transaction with Bitcoin a month or two ago where it took a few minutes to do, and it cost me $20 to do it.
Hmm.
And so it's expensive right now to trade, and it takes time, where Ripple is much faster. It wasn't expensive to trade. And so all of these things, it's going to dawn on people sooner or later when we actually start using it. So buy the ETF, which is a basket of every single cryptocurrency, if you're really interested in this
But
market.
hopefully not the Petro, which was Maduro's idea for
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Don't buy that one.
What the heck is going on with that country anyways? They've got
Yeah,
two,
whatever happened to Kodak? Kodak had
yeah,
a
they've got
a
a coin.
cryptocurrency too. Yeah, like they've been out of business, the photo business for a long time, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're getting into our own cryptocurrency.
So I do want to say one more warning
Yeah,
about this. So we're all kind of thinking it's the inverse of the stock market, like gold, right? Or like bonds,
yeah.
like if the market goes up, Bitcoin goes down. If the market goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Here's the thing. It might actually have been from manipulation. There are
Mm.
a lot of people that are super rich that have a ton of Bitcoin, like the Winklevoss brothers,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, they
Or other
totally.
people like that. Like a bunch of people have a ton of Bitcoin that they're hoarding. And last time Bitcoin went up in 2017, people say that it was through manipulation, where somebody rich just started buying a whole bunch and then other people jumped on the bandwagon. The very same thing could have happened on Monday. And so remember, this is all speculation. Nobody's actually using it right now to purchase goods on the whole. So just watch out for
Except for murders and drugs.
it. And Matt.
And me.